Beijing is quite astute about this. I don't think they derived any comfort with the can being kicked down the road, because it means that it is not a hollow threat, that it is a considered approach. And that's more worrying than just saying 50% tariff if you don't negotiate, and then 2 days later, okay, you negotiated. So those would be the particular risks that we probably must look at. And I think for Beijing, a lot of that stimulus, I mean, of course, they want to get consumption up because it's a longer-term goal to rebalance the economy. But in the very immediate future, having the industrial advantage and retaining whatever they have, that I think is the utmost importance to them.
Vishnu, how are you thinking about, because we're going to be speaking about the oil markets in a bit, but how do you think about the whole energy piece in this entire equation? You're smiling.
No, I think
Are you thinking a lot about it?
Yeah, I am. I think it is a very important piece of it. The US is in a position where it has got a much more dominant posturing on it. And I don't think they intend to lose that position. And so some of that flexing is to ensure that Canadian energy flows into the US and that the US position as a net exporter of energy overall is further entrenched. And I think that's going to be one of the critical links to ensure that inflation expectations remain anchored. I mean, putting aside the pandemic disruptions, typically inflation expectations are very tied to where energy prices are and where energy prices are heading. And that gives them a lot more leverage over the OPEC, over Russia, over where they can bring yields down, because they know they need to bring yields down. At the very least, Besant knows this, which is why I think part of his 3 threes was the 3 million barrels per day. And that also means that their advantage over many other major nations, China included, Europe, of course, particularly accentuated, is that energy advantage.
But it's a major energy advantage. It's a major advantage, trade advantage over, let's say, Europe, because geographically speaking, right, how does the US want to aim at becoming a key energy exporter that is producing surplus, that they beat their own consumption and send out shipments to the rest of the world, to India, to Japan, to South Korea, to ASEAN, have Indonesia buy more oil from the US? Because that's, I mean, from a positioning perspective, like the way things are geographically, it seems a little difficult.
No, mathematically it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the sums don't add up. But I think what they're trying to do is, if they can ensure that the greater North America is in a huge surplus, with them in a pole position to export, so that includes the JEBs at 51st state, so on and so forth, then that puts them in a stronger position to tell Europe, whatever you need, you take it from me.
Sure, Europe, yeah.
And then that's how you gain that kind of energy advantage, which is also why you probably get energy prices settling at a Goldilocks level, primarily because the US producers don't want it too low, but you can't have it so high that it causes inflationary issues either.
Yeah.
So that's really, it's a very hard situation to manage, but we know that the US is going to give it a go.